All right, guys, today we are continuing our exploration into entrepreneurship. And in our recording room today, we have entrepreneur Holy Chantal, and we will be exploring all the details related to jump from being employee to self-employment. I know that there are lots of people struggling with that, and we are devoting that time in order to bring some clarity and have some advices from first hand. So Holly, please go ahead and tell us a little bit when you started your journey to entrepreneurship.
Great. So I started my business as a coach about 5 years ago, and basically where I found that passion was I had had businesses before, and I was at a conference, and I'd never experienced what a coach was before until I saw someone speak at a conference, and I knew when she was on the stage that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to inspire people and help them to achieve more than they ever thought possible. So I trained with Michael Port to be a Book Yourself Solid coach, and now I work with coaches and I help them create a brand strategy that brings them visibility and positions them as a unique solution. And I do website design as well for coaches to kind of bring that brand to the forefront visually.
It seems like you defined it very easily what you do now, but I am curious how you come to that direction. Was it easy? Was it natural? Or there was some search and struggle?
Of course, there is struggle.
Okay. Now,
when
now we are getting to the truth. Okay.
I am a firm believer that when you start a business, especially for coaches, because like I said, I work with a lot of coaches, so this is the timeline that I typically see, is the first about 18 months that you're in business is struggle. You're trying to figure out how to describe what you do. You're trying to figure out who you want to serve, what it is you really want to do for them, and narrowing that down and getting that language down and feeling really confident. It takes a while. So that for me, it was about 18 months until everything kind of clicked. And then once I had made that decision of who I was going to serve, what I was going to offer, and confident in how I was going to describe it, then everything kind of fell into place. And for those first 18 months, I was just kind of spinning my wheels. And then within probably about 3 to 4 months of everything clicking, I was booked solid and kind of went from there.
Okay. But tell me, please, is there any relation between the job you did before and direction of your business? Are they
No,
connected?
not at all.
Okay, so that was a dramatic change.
Yes, so
Okay.
I started the coaching business right out of college. My degree is in animal science.
Mhm.
My master's degree is in education. So what I like to say is that I'm really good at herding cats.
Okay, I was thinking about dolphins, but cats. Okay.
Yeah, I can herd cats really well, which is great because I'm a website designer, so I am managing a lot of projects. So it's a running joke. So my educational background has nothing to do with marketing, and really everything I've learned has been in the trenches, working, working and implementing my ideas and testing to see what works and what doesn't work. And the businesses I had while I was in college were kind of more just setting the groundwork for how to run a business. I did home parties for a couple years. I raised animals and sold them for a couple years, those kinds of things. Always knew I wanted a business. I just didn't know what form it would take.
Yeah, actually, you preceded my question, but so I don't need even to ask. I was thinking, how much did you know about business before? So there were some testing waters, yeah, kind of
I
attempts.
dabbled.
Okay,
I
yeah.
dabbled a little bit, and then yeah, and what's kind of funny is that I started businesses whenever I'd have a major breakup with a boyfriend. That was kind of how I
Okay,
soothed
great.
and diverted my attention was to start something new. And luckily for me, all of them were very successful and fun.
All right. So what about human nature things like related to fears, doubts? I mean, what was the process here with you?
The process of overcoming the fears and doubts?
Yeah, I mean, or if there were some.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't, I would be very surprised to meet someone that did not have any fear and doubt when they were beginning their business. And for me, I really have learned to trust myself and to um, have confidence in moving forward, even if I'm uncomfortable or afraid of something, because I trust myself knowing that if something goes wrong or it doesn't work out how I planned, I can always adjust and make it work. And that's also kind of a precept we have with my company is when we're working with clients, like I said, we do website design, so a lot of clients ask, can I do this, can I do that? And the answer is we'll make it work. There is no right or wrong answer in business, and the answer really is to just try things and see how they work for you, because you may have a completely different experience than someone else because your talents or your experiences might be different. So that's how it was for me.
That's great. It sounds like a very like a fundamental type of philosophy behind it. So there are certain type of beliefs which I right now in our interview room see it over and over and over again. So set of beliefs related to, okay, I just gonna try. Lots of things will not work, but some will, and we will find the way on the move.
Right?
That's a very interesting and very common to entrepreneurship position. All right. So it allows you somehow to be in position of not knowing but still doing. All right. Okay. So what about your family? What about support resistance in your surroundings?
So I'm very lucky to have a very supportive family. My parents have always supported me in everything I did, and I think that's probably why I have that trust in knowing that if something doesn't work out, I'll fix it, because that's kind of the attitude my parents had. Was they would tell me that uh, if something doesn't work out or, you need help, we're always there for you. And I think having that safety net for me really allowed me to step out and take a lot bigger risks than I would have otherwise. My husband's also very, very supportive. For the first couple years of our relationship, I was pretty much, just sitting behind my computer.
Yeah.
We're trying to get things going, and he's been really supportive through that process.
Yeah. All right. So, and my next question is about energy because that's a part of my routine. I always asking entrepreneurs, what is your energy level in comparison to energy level of people around? That kind of subjective evaluation from 1 to 10. How you evaluate your level?
My level of energy.
Yep.
So I think we may define, everyone kind of defines energy differently.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of tell you how I define. So my level of drive is a 10. I When I see something I want to do, I go for it. As far as my energy, um, like frequencies, I have a pretty calm, cool, and collected kind of energy, which I think
Mhm.
also really helps when I'm dealing with stress or overcoming those fears. Is I'm pretty calm, pretty laid back. I'm one of those people that in a crisis situation, I am pretty level-headed.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, in terms of energy, I agree. There are difficult to find that like a final way to look at it. But in terms of being calm and being cool when the world is crashing, for example, it could be sign of high energy as well because
Hmm.
it's like being in control.
Hmm.
I mean, what?
Being in that
Yeah,
flow.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's so in terms of passion, in terms of go and do things when you are sure and you know what to do, the energy is your evaluation is 10. So you just go for it.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So this is clear. And in terms of your transition to self-employment, if you would evaluate it from 1, it's like super stressful, and 10 is smooth, easy, no problem whatsoever. a smooth ride. So what was yours?
So there's a difference between my perception and how things went.
Yeah.
The perception in the time, I was definitely at a 3, super stressed out. I had a position at a ballet school, which was a position I had taken so that I could start my business because the hours were really flexible.
Hmm.
Room and board was paid for, and then I also had a salary. I actually moved to a completely different state to take this job to start my business. And after about 2 years, I had really hit my stride, and I was coming to a point where I had to choose. Either I tone down my business and I don't um, take the opportunities that were coming to me and keep my job, or I quit the job and lose all of that security and my apartment. I had to move out and go into being fully self-sufficient. So it was a pretty scary time. Um, and what ended up happening was, I think I left my position in September. It was December. It was right around the holidays.
Hmm.
And I think January was my best month that I had ever had since I had started. So it really freeing up that time and being able to focus on just the business and not having to divert my focus between my job and my business. Things really took off, and it just became easy right away. So within the first after the first couple months, I no longer had that stress, and I was really, really happy that
Yeah.
I made that decision.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, in a way, it's very short because the stressful time easily could last, I don't know, year, two, or when business are not really picked up yet, and it
Mhm.
often happens, as you mentioned before, 18 months or whatever, there could be some struggles. Yeah, so you went in a way quite smoothly. Even though that short period could be stressful, as you said, number three,
Right.
yeah, it is quite a high level of stress. All right, in this case, I just want to ask you, could you just tell me, please, what your perception? Again, I don't even need to say what was the objective thing. We always talk about your perception, of course. So, three factors which you think made it smooth, and three factors which made it stressful.
So the factors that made it smooth were that I waited long enough that my business was established. So at this point, I struggled for my 18 months, and then that's when I moved and started this job. So I was 2 years of having a really solid business. I had grown it to that tipping point, to where it needed to have my whole focus. So that I think really helped. I think a lot of times people may leave their job too early, or they'll leave their job before they start their business and kind of give themselves I have a year to get this going, and that kind of pressure really makes it difficult.
Yeah.
The other things that made it smooth were having that support system, having a plan and the assets that I had built up as far as my list. I already had courses that I was ready to launch. I had a client base, referral base. Those kinds of assets that you build up made it a lot smoother. Things that made it stressful were losing that security of a guaranteed paycheck,
Yeah.
having to move
Yeah.
out of my apartment and kind of start over completely. Um, and I think that those are probably the biggest two. I can't really think of a third one off the top of my
Yeah.
head.
All right. Okay. So related to security, related to movement and uncertainty, and yeah, those are major, usually major things which hits you. And in terms of, again, evaluation on the scale of 1, you totally regret your decision that to quit the stable job with the security, and if and 10 is thanks heaven I made it and I am right now my own boss. So where are you?
I'm definitely a 10. I was a 10 within 2 months of leaving my job.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
been amazing being able
Okay.
to focus on exactly what I want to focus on each day, and the people I get to work with are just incredible.
All right. And if I'm not even, it looks like maybe it's not your case, but if one thing you would do differently, what that thing would be?
I think I probably would have left the job before it got to that point where I was having to make that choice. Um, because I have a lot of regret in the job and how I wasn't really paying attention as much as I could have. And it was really just because I was too afraid to leave to start my business. And I think if I had left earlier, I would have just felt a lot better about it all around.
All right. So the only, in a way, the only thing you would do differently is moved out from your job quicker, faster.
Yes.
All right. I understand that sometimes we are dragging things. I mean, because of some considerations and losing
Hmm.
energy on it
Right.
somehow. And all right. So that's
I was
probably the
too
only thing.
afraid of leaving. I was too afraid of leaving the position because I didn't want. I felt an obligation. And I didn't want to leave them hanging, needing to find a replacement for me.
Yeah.
And then in the end, it ended up not mattering.
And I think we came to end of our interview. And last question, it's very important one. Your advice. I would say the major one, two, three things, whatever you come up with. What advice to people who right now considering to move to self-employment, to start their own businesses? They have lots of doubts. They have lots of concerns. So, what is your advice?
So I work with a lot of people that are starting up. So this is something that I've seen quite a bit. Probably the biggest piece of advice that I would give someone that's thinking about starting their business or leaving their position is to really start with the foundation of your business. Um, so start with defining who it is that you want to serve, what it is you want to do for them, and getting really confident in expressing your value and how to explain what you do. I think that that's probably the biggest thing that holds people back and that puts them in that spin cycle of starting and stopping when they don't have that confidence that what they're doing is right for them.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it's really a matter of being able to embrace that discomfort and do things that you may be afraid of, like reaching out to joint venture partners, launching that product, marketing yourself can be really scary. It sounds really simple, but then when you actually go to do it, the thought of putting yourself out there terrifies people. So I think if you can just accept that it's normal to feel that way and it will get easier. You have to try something and maybe fall on your face a couple times before you actually get really good at it. I I tell everyone it's a rule of three. So if you are trying to do something new, for instance, if you're doing a teleseminar or you're going to write a blog post or um, anything new that you're going to try in your business, do it 3 times before you give up, before you think you can't do it. Because by about 3 times, you've usually figured things out and you feel much more comfortable and you'll usually keep going.
Yeah. Guys, I hope you heard. I think it's a really powerful advice, and I sense that you are speaking from your heart, from your experience. So, in our room today, we had Holly, Chantal, and I thank you very much for coming for interview. I know
Thank
that
you for having me.
yeah, you are busy person, and so thank you very much, Holly, and we will be in touch later. Thanks a lot. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye.